Conjugate? Conjugate?
Looks like it.
Does it look like it? All right, that's fine. 3 minus I. 3 minus I would be the conjugate. If you have 4 minus 6I, the conjugate would be 4 plus 6I. The conjugate just switches the middle term. Should we write that out? The conjugate just switches the middle term. The middle sign. Should we write that out? All right. The conjugate there's no way that's right. Is it? Just changes the sign in the middle. All it does. It also, if you're looking at this, if you're looking at 3 plus I and 3 minus I, you may be thinking, this thing, if you multiply it together, is a difference of squares. Because you get 3 squared minus I squared. It's a difference of squares. So we've kind of seen conjugates before, but we didn't call them conjugates. We just did it. Sandra says we're right in the spelling. All right. I don't know why it looks so terrible, but that's okay. Thank you, Sandra. It's really bugging me. Still bugging me. There's no way to stop it. All right. So let's divide. Let's get an example. We're just going to do something like 3 plus I divided by 2 minus 2I. Let's do 3I. Okay. We're going to divide. So here's our example. It's 3 plus I divided by 2 minus 3I. We have a complex number on top. It's divided by a complex number on the bottom. What we need to do is multiply top and bottom by the conjugate. So the conjugate of the bottom, though. The conjugate of the bottom, instead of 2 minus 3I, it's going to be 2 plus 3I. It's going to be 2 plus 3I. You put that on top and bottom of the fraction. All right? Once again, math is building upon itself. We learned how to multiply 2 complex numbers. Now dividing is just multiplying 2 complex, well, 2. We've got 2 pairs, right? 2 pairs. All right, so let's go ahead and do that. We got to do the top and we have to do the bottom, but that's okay. It's good practice. 2 times 2 is 6. What? I think I said 2 times 2. It's 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3I is 9I. I times 2 is 2I. I times 3I is 3I squared. All right, that's what you should get on top. All right, and on the bottom, you could remember it's a difference of squares. I hate remembering stuff, so I'm just going to distribute. 2 times 2 is 4. 2 times 3I is 6I, so it's plus 6I. Negative 3I times 2 is negative 6I. And then negative 3I times positive 3I is going to be negative 9I squared. All right, so we are going to take questions on the multiplying of the numerator, multiplying to the top, and multiplying the denominator on the bottom. If something went wrong when you guys were doing it or you have a question, please, please, please let me know. Also, I would say that this is way more, if I was a student sitting here, this would look horrible, right? Does this look horrible? Justice, this looks horrible. When you do it yourself, is it as bad as what it looks like on the board? It's not nearly, right? Because you'd be like, how did he get that 2I? I have no idea. But when you guys go through it and you go, 3 times 2 is 6. Oh, yeah, I see where he got the 6. 3 times 3I is 9I. Oh, I see where he got the 9I, right? It's so much better to do on your own than like watch someone do it. Oh, great question, Johnny. So Johnny says, to do the division, why do we do the conjugate of the bottom of the problem? So what's going to happen when we take the conjugate is it becomes a difference of squares. So Johnny, what happens here in the denominator is the i's cancel. The i's cancel, so the i's are gone. What we're actually doing, Johnny, is rationalizing the denominator. And then you may ask, why do we rationalize the denominator? It's because before calculators were around, rationalizing the denominator was the only way that we could get a decimal approximation. Now that calculators exist, that is a very good question. We probably do not need to rationalize denominators anymore. All right? But it's okay. We have to because that's what it tells us to do. All right? Let's combine the top. Let's rewrite I squared. I squared is -1. So we get 6 plus 9i plus 2i is 11i. And then we get plus 3 times -1. All divided by 4 minus 9 times -1. Replace I squared with -1. Replace I squared with -1. Yeah, great question, Johnny. Great question. What we're actually doing is rationalizing the denominator. But it's okay. We don't need to know that. We just need to know how to solve the problems. But I tried to get away with it, right? By just saying that's how we divide when that's not true at all. What we're really doing is rationalizing the denominator.
What if you didn't get, you weren't able to rationalize the denominator? You get like 6i plus, like minus 6i.
You will always get that because you chose to multiply top and bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. It always creates a difference of squares. So those will always cancel. Yep. Great, great, great question. Excellent question. Others? All right. So let's keep on with this problem. We got 6 plus 11i plus, not plus, minus 3 divided by, we get 4 plus 9. 4 plus 9 is 13. And then up here we get 6 minus 3 is 3. So we get 3 plus 11i divided by 13. And now we're going to distribute the division. Distribute the division. Our real part is going to be 3 over 13. Our imaginary part or complex part is 11 over 13, 11i over 13. That is our final answer. So when we do the real part in the homework, you'll put 3 over 13. And when you do the imaginary part, you'll put 11i dash 13. Right? Oh, and you use the slash, right, for divided by. That's what it'll look like in the homework.